Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan Battle video. So with the drop of the Supreme Magnificent Battles Ari and the Red Zone Ari, we now have the completion of all of the EX missions, all the panel missions, all of that good stuff. So we could just go ahead and clear all those out. Let's just start with the panel missions. I mean, obviously that's what people care way more about, probably, because these are the thank you tickets in which you will be able to summon on the actual new characters and new banners, right? So we do have the panel missions here. Windows 11, hang on. Yeah, okay, right here. So none of the regular 11th anniversary celebration panel missions right here, none of these were reset. We were able to complete all these. What day was this that we were able to complete all these? The 14th, huh? Yeah. So since February 14th, these panel missions have been completed very easily stuff, right? Just all these increments of, 1 and 11, to match the 11th anniversary. Now, we have these rainbow tickets, the Tons of Thanks tickets. Definitely a debuff, a nerf from what we had before with the, GDC Rainbow Tons of Thanks tickets, in which we're able to do a single summon with a 44% chance to pull the new LR. That was pure greatness. Unfortunately, they did not return that. They just want you to do all the content in the celebration, basically. I know, people are dying to say, what content? Again, I would say they dropped at least kind of a moderate amount of content. Definitely not enough for one of these modern anniversaries. But it's more so the issue that a lot of this content was throwaway content. I think that is much more of the problem than the actual amount that they dropped, right? So doing all the stages of the greatest tours, the burst modes, the 11th anniversary special battles, and then, getting through all of this. Then we're on to, wait, isn't there a board 2? Am I crazy? No, there's not. Okay. Yeah, right here. So these are the last two ones that just dropped. So Phase 1 of Stage 1 against Legic, and then Phase 1 of Stage 1, Krillin and Android 18. So it just wants you to do the literally that first phase, and you get, what is it, the last 9 tickets we're going to get right here, and a stone. So let's go ahead and grab these right quick. Wabam. I guess I'll probably maybe try and do some final video with some ticket summons. Let me see how many tickets I'm sitting on. I could still use a bunch of these because, remember, with reverse being removed, I still have to rebuild my box of SSRs into URs. So some of these tickets are actually, exciting for me to summon on. All right, so panel missions are done. Here, let me just go to the gift box, make sure we got it all accepted. Yep, perfect. All right, let's head over here to the ticket summons, and let's see what your boy's working with. All right, so it's new right here because the discounts are over, and there could be summon points available. I would not recommend players chase for summon points. Oh, I have 30 available right here. Okay, 30 of these tickets, and then the regular tickets, I have 15. Okay, so we could do a couple of summons, I guess. I'll just do this, I guess, for a separate video. We'll go ahead and throw some summons out, see if we can get something. I'm not sure who I would go for. Probably either UI or Daima Vegeta. Yeah. Yeah, one of those two. UI or Daima Vegeta. Not really too sure. Probably Daima Vegeta, I'm thinking. Alright, so we got that done. The other thing we have to do is the EX missions. Right? EX missions, something they've been doing for, a little over 3 years now. Oh, here's my dailies. Let's get these done. Perfect. All right, very good. And, oh, what? Wait, what? Huh? What? These are done? Well, all right, okay. They're done, apparently. Well, let's go over what they are, and we can cover it. And then I guess we'll put this video up, and it's, clearing all EX missions and panel missions and rainbow tickets and all that good stuff. Okay. Apparently I got them all done just by doing the stages. All right, so we got these two done. So then we're on to the EX missions. So we would have had most of these done. I have done quite a few videos I guess this is the 5th video. Because of the way they drip fed us these EX missions and tickets, right? Like, it's like I've kind of just been, you know, coming to it a bunch of times here. So, most of these is just very basic stuff. The Tamagami event without items, that's very easy. The Heated Throwdown event within 7 turns without items. Again, most of the content outside of Jiren, all of the content of the anniversary really is quite, I mean, not too tricky. I think the Omega fight, the Ari Red Zone Omega fight could definitely be kind of like a real fight, because they did give Omega a huge assortment of annoying abilities. I feel like Omega is probably trickier because of the opening of that fight, though, than the end of that fight. That would be my guesstimate. Let's see. Clear stage 1. These are the special battles. Yep, with Daima team. This was the Goma event, deal 99 million, which is very easy for any player to do with Majin Ku. This is the worst content of the anniversary, the AoE event, just with a full super class team within 4 turns. Very easy stuff, right? All right, so let's get to the more recent missions. So these, boom, boom, boom. We're looking for the ones, yeah, that probably start around right here. Okay, so burst mode right here, for the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta Dokkan event burst mode. I mean, that is just, I mean, utterly child's play. I don't know even how to say it. Well, I guess if the burst mode is before this video right here. Yeah, but I mean, we could just quickly show a second of this, right? But here, let's just go speed up and show how easy these are. Like, they made these burst modes, like these little revamps, like we could get to that 8,000 score, but it's still just a joke, right? Like, you take your good characters in here and you're blowing these bosses away. It's not like this is not any different. It's just come in here, dominate, decimate, obliterate these bosses with no opposition, really. Like, you know, if you're using your good, powerful characters for this, you're going to be able to finish this easily. So we get to this rotation, right? And it's just like the Daima Super Saiyan 4's active skills just blow the boss away, right? Just not very much there at all. So we have that. Defeat Omega Shenron and clear stage 1 of the greatest tours. You know, what's funny is, you know, the greatest tours does now have, I would argue, the hardest boss. One of the harder bosses in the game's history, Jiren. That first phase of Jiren is very difficult. This Omega was not really too bad. A lot of people were saying it's not a guarantee for Omega to super right there. Remember, he is an AoE boss as well. So this is something we could anticipate moving forward, by the way, is that if Omega Shenron is going to be a boss fight, he's probably going to be an AoE boss, right? It's like when LR Cell, I guarantee you, if you look at the breakdown I did for LR Cell Max, I promise you back then during that LR Cell Max breakdown when he first came out, I would have noticed that he did AoEs and I would have said, oh shit. So we're probably going to be fighting a lot of AoE Cell Max bosses in the future. And that's exactly what ended up happening, right? So a lot of Omegas in the future will probably be AoE bosses. I don't think this was this tricky. Stage 2 was definitely significantly better than Stage 1 of this event. That is for sure, right? Because the structure of this one right here is you have to fight them all in a row. I again, really like the structure of Stage 2, where it's kind of like you can teleport around the map with the Nimbuses and stuff. At Stage 2 of the Greatest Tours, in my opinion, is the best content of the celebration, which also sucks because it goes away in a week. I don't understand why they're really doing that. But you do have to go through all the bosses in a row to get to Omega, whereas in Stage 2, the hardest boss you could teleport right to, which is really good. I think that was a good decision. So we got that. Clear the Stage 2 of the Greatest Tours. Yeah, I mean, here, I just jumped in with a really nasty team. You know, maybe the same boring old setup. We came in with really good characters. Kai Goku, the Int Super Saiyan 4s, UI Goku, Evolution Blue Vegeta. You know, a lot of the same very powerful characters. I believe I did this before I had the 8th anniversary LRs, Easy Aid. They, of course, would be tremendous for this. That GT Spirit Bomb character, I think, would be really good for this fight. So that would be good. And this was the team we ended up using for that first clear right there. Okay. Then, clear stage 3 of the Supreme Magnificent Battle Aria Universal Survival Saga. Oh, with an AGL Tech Int STR physical type character within 8 turns. So in my initial clear, I just did this and didn't realize. I didn't even realize this was the mission. Okay, let's just take a look at our Goku and Frieza clear. So this right here, all of those things we hit. So with this, we have a character of every typing. Yeah, AGL, Tech, Int, STR, and Physical. So it's beat it with all those types, 8 turns. Oh, but you can use items. Okay, so players could use items. Yeah, this fight really wasn't too tough. People were very mad about this, but it's just like, damn, dude. I should try and do a difficult content discussion video. I saw Minato just did one too, but I've talked about this in many videos, how it's such a tricky slope Dokkan has to play around with, because if they drop fights that aren't hard enough, people complain. If they drop fights that are too hard, people complain. The perfect middle ground is, I mean, nearly impossible to hit, right? Like, Jiren is not gonna be in that middle ground I'm talking about. People fucking hate that fight, right? Goku Black and Zamasu, I feel like, did hit the happy middle ground. I would say the Goku Black and Zamasu GDC fight, even though I was not a fan of Dokkan, like, eliminating all 10th anniversary characters, that fight was very good. But it's difficult, because once they push power creep, people get really excited, because, oh, there's an exciting fight. It's very exciting. But at the same time, then, you know, 70% of the game is unusable. So it's a very tricky slope. So people were upset about this fight being too weak, but if it was too hard, people would be mad too. So, you know, it is, that's why, like, it's just tricky. Like, this phase was bastardized. This is one of the hardest boss phases in history. I could do a video on that. Hardest boss phases in history. Not boss fights, right? Like, oh, the Goku and Frieza Supreme Magnificent Battle stage. It's this phase was the problem phase. I died to this phase, like, hundreds of times. Because it's just this dodge canceling phase in the middle of this. This boss was so tricky. But guess what? We get dodge in this phase, making it a complete throwaway right here. Then we get to Goku and Frieza. So this is, I noticed this, by the way. Goku and Frieza, their damage threshold is less, by the way, than it was in the old fight. In the old fight, their damage threshold was 10 million. In the new one, it's 5 million. How insane is that? That's, you know, again, that leads to people being very upset about this. So we're able to just blow them away. They can be a little tricky. Their damage is going to be very serious once you knock them below 50% HP. They will kill a lot of the best characters in the game. The thing about this fight compared to the old one, though, is that this super attack doesn't appear to be static to me. This boss will super kind of like randomly. Because once we get to this last turn here, they did super us in slot 3. We had Giant Goma up, but they actually super us in slot 3 right here. Yeah, right here. Right after Goma attacks, we'll see Goku and Frieza super in slot 3. Let's see. So there they are right there, supering in slot 3. But there we go. We get this cleared out in 5 turns. Okay, so we still have 3 turns to spare for this run. Okay, not too bad. So there's that one done. So we got that one done. And clear stage 3. Oh, without items, which we also got done in that same run. Okay. And then this is... So this is the same thing for Omega. 12 turns? Holy shit. So no items, and then a character of every typing. Okay. So let's take a look at this. So clearly we did that in our first run against Omega. Omega, I think, was the only one we lost to in our initial runs here. It was funny. We lost... Dude, Can you load? Yeah, thanks. The funniest was... Hold on. We got to go to this point where we lose a couple of times with Carnival Goku. This was devastating. Yeah, so Blue Goku, he does fail an 80% dodge right there. He gets cucked. Then we come back in with Carnival Goku. Where is this? And my darling fails 280. This 80% dodge failed. 80% dodge right here failed. Oh my god. We were getting cream pied with these 80% dodges in this run. I think after this then was our successful run, but yeah, had a little bit of bad luck with the dodges. So this is the setup we're using: the Int Super Saiyan 4s, AGL Goku, Tech Pan, STR Daima Goku, and then the physical Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, and UI Goku right here. Okay. Here, let's get the speed up a little bit here. We'll jump up to like a 2, I think is good. So yeah, this fight, in my opinion, it's more so tricky at the start because the full-on Shadow Dragons deal 30% damage to us. So we just take 30% damage. And then there's tech bombs as well. This phase is a throwaway. This guy is very, like, nothing. He just has, like, a 7 million super. There's nothing special about this Sin right here whatsoever. The first phase is, I think people will hate it, but it's very tricky. And then the last phase, I think, I don't know. They probably went a little too easy on the last phase, maybe. So what this Omega does is he cycles here. So the first turn, he will slot 0 super, which is it's a killer super attack. It's 10 million with a defensive debuff or something like that. So it's a monster super attack, right? He does it in slot 0 right here. It's Omega's regular. Oh, I went through it. Oh, we dodged it, didn't we? No, we get hit by it. Boom, there you go. But that's like 12 million with a defensive debuff or something like that. All right, so then at the end of the second turn, this is where they made him not too tricky. At the end of the second turn, he will super attack in slot 3. It's an AoE 10 million super in slot 3, but because of the fact that it's in slot 3, it takes away the bite of it being an AoE super attack, right? An AoE super attack would be absolutely devastating if he would do it in slot 0. That would make this maybe one of the hardest fights in history. Yeah, if he just simply AoE supered in slot 0, this probably would become one of the hardest fights in history, considering the opening phase, how annoying it would be, and then this AoE. But the difference between a slot 0 AoE and a slot 3 AoE is the difference between one of the hardest fights of all time, and kind of like a solid challenge fight for the anniversary. I think this is probably the second best difficult fight of the anniversary, but I also think people are not going to enjoy the opening phase. Bombs and him just doing 30% damage, people aren't going to enjoy that shit. No way, right? No way. But we're able to clear him pretty easily here. Do we finish him right here on turn 9? Do we? No, I think we finish him on turn 10. So there's UI. UI is able to get the job done for us, which is good. So there's UI. Then we got in Super Saiyan 4 Goku is perfectly made for this fight. So he's made to sit in slot 2, get to 90% dodge, and then be able to deal with Omega's AoE, right? The Super Saiyan 4s are designed for this fight 100%. And this guy is amazing for this fight as well with all of his healing, considering all of Omega's damage that he does, right? And then Omega does his AoE, dodge, and then dodge. So thanks for playing, Omega. And then we'll Spirit Bomb his ass here on turn 10. And then that's how we finish. We drop the Int Spirit Bomb. Then we drop the Z Spirit Bomb. So goated. Goated shit right there. And then there we go. So we finished on turn 10. Turn 10. Yep. Turn 10, character of every typing. No items right there, which gives us these last 2 missions. So, chat. There we go. There is all the EX missions. I don't hate how they did the EX missions in this celebration, honestly. I think it's kind of fine. But I do wish... So if we would jump back over quickly, some of them is just like... Yeah, like this one, just beat Omega Shenron. Maybe more like mission-type content, like, beat some of these fights with, 3... Power Wishes, like this should have been beat Omega with 3 Power Wishes characters or something like that, right? And there should have been maybe a mission against like Red Zone Bio Broly. There should have been a mission against maybe even like one of the older Red Zones. So I guess they did do that during the countdown, but even in the EX they could have done more of those, right? But all right, guys, so there we go. So we covered all of the regular summon tickets, all the rainbow summon tickets, and we got all of the EX missions all completed. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.